Hello everyone, Jonathan Chi here. Today is April 3rd, 2020, and this is the third week that we are working from home, and I'm here in my command center here in West Covina. Today, there's actually a lot happened in the last few days, and then one of the first thing is I'm pretty sure a lot of you are already aware. Real estate service right now is being considered as essential by the federal government. So, that basically just means that we can go out to, buy and sell homes for you. But a lot happened in the past several days just because with all the legal requirements that we have to comply with. And that's actually something I want to talk about too. But bear with me 1 second because I accidentally closed my screen there. So I want to go over today actually the 4 forms that's new that just came out really in the past 2-3 days that you are going to be seeing in the next, at least the next 30 to 60 days. And then these forms are going to be utilized for pretty much all the transaction from now. And I'm anticipating at least the next 30 to 60 days for all the landlords, sellers, buyers, tenants, and then the vendors too. So one of the ones I'm pretty sure all of you will see is called the Coronavirus Property Entry Advisory and Declaration. Again, that form is called Coronavirus Property Entry Advisory and Declaration. That is the form PEAD. The PEAD form basically says that anyone that needs to enter the property need to read through this list. And a lot of it is really common sense. If you are sick, don't come out. And if you are not feeling well, don't come out. And then if you've been in contact with someone, that might be affected by coronavirus, then you don't come. You shouldn't be coming either. And then it talks about even when we go see the house, we should keep our social distance 6 feet. And a lot of it you already know, but it just right now it's going to be in writing. And I'll talk about it more later on in the video as far as what sellers and buyers will face from here on as far as when we perform our regular showings and things. So that's the very first form. The second one is going to affect mostly the sellers and the landlords. This one is called the Listing Agreement Coronavirus Addendum or Amendment, the card RLA-CAA. Again, this form is called the Listing Agreement Coronavirus Addendum or Amendment. So what this form does is actually that it tells the seller or the landlord that people are going to go through the house, and then we are going to let them read through that PEAD form, the one I just went over with you, and then let the seller know that what kind of what they need to pay attention to, and also just the vendors and what the vendors will do, and also how we are going to market the property, and if for any reason the property need to be temporarily withdraw from the market, how we are going to do the extension for the listing agreement. Just like most of the property in the past 2 weeks be withdrawn from the market. I don't know if you noticed, all of a sudden there's no home on the market because we couldn't do anything. Yeah, so a lot of the listings were put on hold for the past week or so, just because of that. But now they're coming back on the market. But if for any reason we are all being asked to do that again, then how we are going to handle that as far as contract goes. So that's going to be affecting mostly for the seller and the landlord. And then the third form, I believe I already mentioned last week, is called the Coronavirus Addendum or Amendment. The Coronavirus Addendum or Amendment, that's the CAR Form CVA. That form basically talks about if any party in the transactions affected by by COVID-19, then we can, and then so if we need to do extensions or cancellations and how this is going to be handled. And it's a recommended form. It's not mandatory, but it's just a recommended form from the California Association of Realtor. And if any action is going to be, is being taken, because of the COVID-19, then there is a form called the Notice of Unforeseen Coronavirus Circumstances. Again, it's called the Notice of Unforeseen Coronavirus Circumstances. That's the CAR form, NUCC. So basically, that form is how you are going to fill out, why you cannot complete the transaction, and then, and then you have to provide proof as well. So those are the 4 forms that that's new this week, and then a lot of you will be seeing for at least the next 30 to 60 days, and hopefully afterwards we'll never have to use them again. But but those are new. And then going back to what I was saying, really before is, due to the COVID-19, because real estate has always been kind of like a person-to-person business, and then we're doing a lot of things virtually right now. Like this weekend, I'm going to have my first virtual open house, which is real virtual. I'll talk more about that later too. Is how we are going to, help our sellers and buyers and still, keep everyone safe at the same time. So I believe I briefly mentioned it last time already. For the buyers, we are not going to let all the buyers go through the house, and we are going to have them look at the online tours, just like what I'm going to be doing this weekend. We'll have them go through the online tours. We have 3D models, we have floor plans, and then, we'll go over, their questions with them first, and they'll most likely drive by the area first to make sure this is the area and the house they want to buy before, we have them sign the PEAD form and then let them into the house. And then keyword, you need to sign the PEAD form in order to get into the house. If you are refusing to sign it, most likely you won't get into the house. So that's something too for the buyers. You are going to be signing forms before you go into any houses for the renters too. And then and of course during the showing, we'll have to keep our distance. And then we are going to be also asking for buyers pre-approval, proof of funds first. And, the sellers or agents, depending on if the home is occupied, are going to, turn on all the lights because we don't want the buyers or tenants to touch anything. And then, and then buyers, of course, please don't touch anything. Wash your hands, all the things we should do to keep all of us safe. And that way, you can see the house. And then for the seller too, we are going to be asking, of course, the agents to provide us the PEAD form before we let them show the house. A lot of you already know that I do have a CBS code on all my Supra boxes. And that's something that's actually strongly recommended right now by our attorneys, just because we don't want any real estate agents just to open the law box and go into the house. So without a PEAD form. So I've been doing that for years already. So for me, this is not new, but just for some of the sellers and buyers, some of the sellers and landlords out there, if your Supra doesn't have a CBS code, you really should be talking to your agent. Okay. And for the sellers too, of course, we're asking you to leave the house, because per the recommendation from California Association of Realtors, that we should only have 3 people in the house at the same time. So that usually means there will be one of the agents and 2 of the buyers, and or all the other people have to take turns. So that's actually what's recommended by the California Association of Realtors right now, when going through the house. And of course, masks, gloves, and hand sanitizers and wipes and everything are strongly recommended, encouraged, just to keep everyone safe. And then just the buyers, please, make sure don't touch anything. And one thing to the buyers and tenants, if you have little kids, I really don't think this is a very good time to bring them to the showings right now, just because they are a little harder to make them understand why they should not be touching things. Speaking from my personal experience, because most of my listings are staged, and kids get curious. They want to touch, the decoration. They want to grab this, grab that. And at this time, I'm really recommending, or just don't bring your kids to showings, just because it is going to make things a lot tougher. And then we are most likely going to be asking them to stay outside, not going to the house. So that's really for the buyers and sellers. And then for the sellers too, we are going to be asking you if you are sick or if you're not feeling well, please also let us know, so so we can stop the showing to the house. So that's something that's going to be very different for the next 30 to 60 days. We are not going to have open houses, but we are going to have virtual open houses. So this coming week, actually this coming weekend, actually this Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 11, I'm going to do my very first virtual open house, and this is an actual virtual one, because there's no internet at the house. Excuse me. There's no, oh, sorry. I'm talking very fast because I don't want this video to be a very big file. And which is actually, I'm glad that I have very fast internet, but still the file sometimes gets too big. I'm going to have my very first virtual open house. This is a virtual one because there's no internet at the house and the cell reception is not very good. So, I can do like a live Zoom over there. But it's going to be done over Zoom, and then I'll be walking through the 3D models with the prospective buyers. If any of you have time, I really encourage you to join me. Actually, my lender is going to be on the call with me too, so he can answer actually mortgage questions. That'll be another video. The lending thing's been honestly crazy since last week too. So the lender will be with me on the call. So we're going to do it through Zoom. And then this one will be a virtual, basically model walkthrough. So I'll be, showing the models, the 3D models, and if the buyers have any questions, I'll be able to answer them. As far as the rooms, and we also have a floor plan, so there are sizes on there. So the buyers can get a really good idea of what the home looks like and the sizes, and if they think that's the right place, then I'm going to ask them to drive by before we sign the PEAD and then go see the house. So that's going to be this weekend. I'll post a link below, and if you can, I'll really appreciate maybe joining me. This is my very first time, and I know the technology very well, but I've never had to present it virtually to anyone. So I'm sure there's going to be some, challenges and things, and I really appreciate any feedback, because we also want to make sure the consumers can adapt to the technology, because it's almost like, we have nothing, and then all of a sudden we want you to do like a 3D tour, so maybe next week we're going to ask you to wear those 3D, virtual reality glasses. So it's kind of like a big leap, even though the technology's been there, but just never really had to utilize it before. So that's something, that's going to be different for the seller too, because we are not allowed to any physical open houses. So you probably won't see any open house signs for quite a while. So that's just something to, let my sellers know too. We are not going to be doing open houses anytime soon because we are not allowed. And then, so that's pretty much the business part. And like I said, I'll talk about the mortgage market maybe early next week, because it's been a lot of crazy things going on. I don't want to talk for too long and bore all of you to death, because this is a pretty long video already. But two things I still want to talk about before I check out is the mortgage forbearance. I've been getting a lot of questions about the mortgage forbearance. One thing to keep in mind is that it's not that they are forgiving your mortgage, so you still have to pay it back. So please call your bank, double check with them. And I'm telling everyone to, if you can pay, you have the ability to pay your mortgage and rent, please pay it. If you're having difficulties, or if you can only pay partial payments too, make sure to call your bank, call your landlord. they will be very happy to work something work something out with you. Just during this difficult time, a lot of people are going through a very difficult time right now. So I'm sure the banks and the landlords will understand. And one thing I've actually learned today too is that I just happened to be talking to my car insurance agent this morning. Apparently, some car insurance company too, because a lot of people are working from home right now, or they can go out. So a lot of families have multiple cars. So apparently, some a car insurance company actually can suspend your car insurance to comprehensive only. So that means there's no collision coverage, but they're going to give you still comprehensive coverage. So that way you can save maybe like $100 a month or something like that. So so if you have extra cars that you're not going to be driving for the next 30 days, so reach out to your car insurance agent. Maybe they can help you with that. Well, that's it for today, and it's a long video. Thank you for watching. This is going to be on YouTube as well. So again, I know it's a difficult time. We are here to help. A lot of things really changed in the past several days. Our industry is being changed, and I'm sure a lot of you working from home too. You notice that a lot of things are probably going to be changing from this point on. We are all learning, but if you need anything, if you have any questions, feel free to call, text, or email me. I always answer, because that's true. I always answer. I always text you back. So, stay safe, stay home. From what I read, is California is doing very good, even though we do have more cases. But our percentage is still low. So stay safe, stay strong, stay home. Let's work together, and then we'll get through this. Thank you very much. See you next time.